Hey everyone, this is Kat from Kokoro&me. Welcome to today's video, and as promised I'll be looking at a counterpart version of the Bachelor's Apartment. So here is the Bachelorette Apartment. So before we've designed stuff quite manly, I'd say, with dark furniture, dark walls really, using dark colors in general, so we used quite a lot of navy or dark blue. So we decided as counterpart for the females out there, we're going to concentrate right on the opposite. So we're going quite light and bright. Started off with white walls and white wooden flooring. I do really love this flooring, and I think in real life it could look quite nice, but in the end, sometimes when I just place too much white in The Sims 4, kind of feels a bit weird and too sterile in a way. And it really annoys me as well how there are always different shades of white in a way. So sometimes when you place furniture that you think belong to the same set or could work well as a set, and one's a bit more creamy, one's a bit more white, one has a texture, one doesn't have a texture at all. So yeah, I decided to add some normal looking wooden flooring. So the wood theme for this apartment is kind of the birch effect wood color, I guess. So any kind of wood we use would be kind of that, whereas in the Bachelor's Apartment it's kind of the dark pine wood, I'd say. So starting with the bathroom, as you can see here, I tried a different style. So I do like it when the bathroom sink kind of sits on a set of counters. It feels like it's just been set and decorated on top of it instead of being its own little I guess sink with a stand at the bottom or anything like this. As I just said, using birch wood items, so we got small shelves. So I've just, I really like to use the scaling down functionality ever since I got introduced. So making those shelves a bit smaller so they don't really go into the room too much and can sit on top of the sink. As always, it makes it hard to put items on top because they like to clip in the air, so you kind of have to use the move objects on Chi to properly place them there. But because we have some counters just underneath, those items you try to place there, even if you place them on the floor and then kind of move them up and then try to move them there, they like to clip, so that's why I had to remove the counters. In the end, I think it worked quite nicely. So we're moving on to the rest of the bathroom. Initially I went with quite some white items, but thought, alright, there's a kind of wood effect bathtub, and since that's kind of our look and feel for this apartment, I decided to go with as many items that kind of have this wood birch effect incorporated into them. So as you can see, even the toilet surface, the toilet seat, I don't even know how you call it, we call it glasses, like the frames of glasses you wear actually in Germany. So yeah, well, where your two halves will sit when you go for business, that's where the birch effect is in this place. So kind of going with a dusky pinks color scheme here. So we've got light ones and darker ones. So I think that works quite well with the white and the light birch effect. Just adding a few pictures, and even though I'm not too keen on having too many pictures in the bathroom, because, well, if you have a hot bath or anything and the room gets kind of steamy, I always fear that those pictures, especially if they are like printed on canvas or anything, instead of being hidden behind a picture frame or glass or anything like this, then I don't know, I always fear that they might break or, I don't know, fall off or anything like this, or lose the print quality or anything. But this cherry blossom picture worked really well with the whole color scheme of the room, so I decided to keep it there. As you can see, already moved on to the kitchen part. So we're building a U-shaped kitchen, which just works really well for this kind of little niche. We've got quite high walls, same as in the Bachelor's Apartment, so that's when I think wall cabinets work really well, or any kinds of wall decorations, just because we've got all the space in the world. Even though I don't really like to place them too high, because I don't know, if you've got a normal sized, can you actually change the size of a sim? I'm not even sure, but if you've got a standard sized sim and the wall cabinets are like 1.5 sizes higher or anything like this, then it gets really hard to get them in. You need a little mini step ladder or anything to reach your stuff. So yeah, keeping them at normal height. I think I always keep the top end of the window is kind of like my little rule of thumb. So currently we're just decorating a little bit and then in the end placing some items onto the kitchen. But I think the kitchen is actually my favorite part of this build. So usually it's the bedroom, but yeah, I struggle quite a lot with lighter bedroom styles, just because, yeah, as I just said, lots of different kinds of whites, and that really grinds my gears kind of. But yeah, it's a similar setup to the Bachelor's Apartment, so using similar items just in a different area kind of. But we do have those under cabinet lights as well that work really well for this part of the room, I think. So adding kind of, I do like this I don't know, distorted brick wallpaper, and because the kitchen is kind of held in reds and lighter reds colors, I thought that fits really well. So now we're decorating the bedroom, and as you can see, I'm going through lots of different color swatches for the bed. I think I end up sticking with that one, even though I tried a few already. Yeah, most of the beds I don't really like, just because they feel so heavily stylized. I mean, if that's what you want, then that's great, but yeah, for what I had in mind, it just didn't really work. So I started off in green actually. Nearly forgot about this. So had this green color swatch of that bed and added a few of the new, I think they're new curtains, not even sure. But then had a fiddle around, so this part is a lot, a kind of big DIY project, I'd say, but in the end it will turn back to coral. So the whole theme for the bedroom, well, not only the bedroom, but the whole apartment is kind of held in kind of somewhat pinks. So we're using a similar setup to the Bachelor's Apartment. So we do have a higher closet, I guess, than a smaller one that's more of a drawer. Adding some nice fluffy, actually removing the fluffy carpet. I did quite like it there. Why did I remove it? I guess because I was still trying to figure out what I really wanted in there. At that point I also discovered this that carpet. I'm not even sure if it's new, but I've never really used it, and then in the end, yeah, lots of trial and error here. Can't wait till we get to the pink part, because I think then the bedroom really starts shining, so hopefully that's the end of it. Yeah, you can see me trying lots of things. I think we in the end we stick with this. I love those 3 flower vase decorations there, because the flowers are nice and puffy and vibrant, and they're quite minimalist in their vase. I quite like that. So yeah, I think this is the part where we actually keep the color scheme for once. So we've got the, yeah, so much better. I was just thinking the cats and dogs mini closet was quite nice, but it didn't really fit to the drawer, so I guess I've moved back to what I did in the beginning, which was the set of big closet and drawers. I think I moved the drawer a little bit more into the wall, just so it doesn't stick out too much from the closet, so it feels like a little set. And because we've got the kitchen counters on the other side, it kind of worked out in the end. I remember when I had my girl bedroom at my parents' house, I had a nearly a full wall of mirrors, because I was a cheerleader back then and I liked to train my dances or anything like this. So I decided maybe for the girl apartment we do the same kind of. So yeah, on this wall to the left we do have a set of 3 mirrors, which work quite nicely, especially because the walls are high. So I think that that kind of adds a little bit to the bedroom, just because we also have quite a lot of space between the bed and the wall kind of thing, and I just didn't want to fill it with random stuff. So that's more or less the bedroom, I think. I'm not sure if I do anything else to it. I think I've added those pull down blinds. I'm not sure if I'm keeping them actually, because I must admit that looks a bit weird now in retro, but looks like I do keep them. So yeah, we've got a cat scratching post there as well, so we've got anything we need if we do have a little cat. Must admit I struggled a little bit with the drawer, just because it was halfly in the wall, and items that clip to it kind of clip to the middle of it, so they're sometimes, if they're big, they also kind of clip into the wall. So I just decided to not fiddle around with it too much and just place what kind of works there. Moving on to the, moving back, I think I I was actually trialing a few decorative items for the bedroom just because I still felt it was quite sterile, because you've got so much white and all that stuff. It's a nice chain of light underneath the TV, although I'm not sure if you ever were to actually watch anything at the TV, if it would distract you or anything. Moving some items into the kitchen part. I'm not entirely sure if I've added that at the end of the video, or if I did it after I finished the video, but I realized I actually forgot a somewhat dining area, so where those two big frames were placed, I actually put in a tiny table with 2 chairs there, so you and Sim can actually sit. So moving on to the living room, and because we do have these 2 angles, I decided to actually trial those, what are they, corner sofas, with a diagonally placed big square coffee table. I thought that works quite nice, big carpet in between them, so I decided that that might be quite nice, and I just wanted to try these to see how they work, because I never really have an opportunity. I don't really have many angles, I guess, or angled walls in my builds usually, so I thought, well, here's the right opportunity for it. I think this is a part as well where I'm just trialing lots of different curtains at some point, just because, yeah, I got a bit annoyed at the different shades of pink, and then I couldn't find a carpet again. That was literally the apartment build of struggle, I think. But in the end we get there. I think I kept those curtains. They are quite how would you call it, an eggshell grey, so kind of like a bluish grey. Whatever it's called, eggshell, no one knows, because an egg for me is rather yellow than blue, but well, doesn't really matter anymore. So moving on to the TV section, so that tiny little sideboard works quite well. I love white items that do actually have some sort of wood texture, so that's one of my favorite items. I need to stop using that as well. The music, what is it, the music thing, I can't remember the word for it, is actually sadly not working, so I had to change that when I was trialing the apartment. But either way, all we're doing right now, and what's left, is kind of a little workstation PC. So you got, well, I guess your computer and a little desk area or space where you can work or study or play or anything. And I do like to, if we don't have a dedicated office room or anything like this, I do like to kind of pair it with the living room, just because it's kind of your entertainment hub in a way. This is the first time I actually used this kind of lampshades with the lots of hanging down little lamps? No, what are they? Bulbs? I don't even know. I reckon they would be LED or anything. Either way, first time I'm using this, and I quite liked it. Although I really hate when you're in build mode and you're not really having a character and lots of different shades of whites and lights and anything. So moving on to the screenshots, quite like the kitchen area. The bedroom turned out nicely in the end. The bathroom is just a simple bathroom. I do really like the living room area. I think it's quite nice and cozy, and I could see myself living there. So that's the Bachelorette apartment. I hope you enjoyed this video. There will be some more coming up, so hope to see you soon. Bye bye.